Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Money Mike. This is the podcast of wrestling, and this is my Wrestlemania 35 review, or should I call it KofiMania, or Wrestlemania. I'm going to call it the People's Wrestlemania. No, The Rock did not show up, but the fans, we've always said, no, the WWE doesn't listen to us. The WWE doesn't give us what we want and what we ask for. WrestleMania 35, they listened to us and they gave us what we want, and they gave us all of feel-good stories. Like, this really was a face-heavy WrestleMania in the win column. Very surprising. A lot of fans, I think, going into this pay-per-view was Seth, Becky, Kofi. No way all of them are going to win. Somebody's going to lose. Which storyline is the WWE not going to give us the happy ending we want for? For me, I thought that it was going to be Daniel Bryan beating Kofi Kingston. I was leaning towards maybe Seth losing. I thought, especially after after Brock beat Roman last year at WrestleMania, I thought, what if they do the same thing with Seth? Brock wins, and then maybe they shoehorn the title or the Universal title back to Roman Reigns, something like that. But they didn't. They gave us the 3 happy endings that we wanted, and we got it. So that's why I'm calling it the People's WrestleMania. So I got to condense 7 hours down to about 30. So I'm going to try my best here, as I'm sure a lot of other reviewers out there, a lot of them that I actually listened to as well, probably had a hard time doing this also. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the pre-show, which originally had 3 matches, but the WWE moved the Raw Tag Team Championship match to the pre-show. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that first, because the Battle Royals, I'm going to talk a little bit extensive on those. The Raw Tag Team Championships, kind of thrown together at the last second. It was put up on as a little WWE.com exclusive. Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, they wanted a tag team title match against the Revival, and nobody really thought they would get it, but the WWE gave Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins the match. They're in New Jersey / New York. Apparently you can't say New Jersey, so they were in New York, and we all thought here, okay, the Revival are going to win, but no, the WWE gave us Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. And Kurt Hawkins got the pin and ended his streak. His losing streak is over in the Major Brothers. Now that one, I'm going back a decade for that reference. The Major Brothers are once again tag team champions. Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins. Now, is this going to be like a running gag where Zack Ryder gets title matches at WrestleMania and he's going to win? He won the Intercontinental title a couple years ago, WrestleMania 32. Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, tag team champions. So there we go. We have new Raw tag team champions, and I was very surprised because there's been rumors about new tag team belt designs, and I really hope that's the case. I hope, similar to the Intercontinental title, they brought back the classic design for that, with the white straps. Can we please go back to the original tag team titles we used to have, please? Now, I'm going to get to the Battle Royals here, both of them. I'm going to cover them both, and then I'm going to get to the Cruiserweight title. The Battle Royals here, they're thrown on the pre-show. What can you say? I mean, the Battle Royals are like a mess, and basically it's a toss-up on whoever you think will win. I mean, these Battle Royals really don't mean much. Naomi won it last year. The women's Battle Royal, she won. And nothing really came of it. Matt Hardy, I guess you could say Matt Hardy, he became the Raw Tag Team champions with Bray Wyatt after WrestleMania. So he had actually success after winning the Andre Battle Royal. I know Brian Zane covered it about the curse of the Andre Battle Royal. So I'm not going to get into what he talked about. But essentially, with the Women's Battle Royal, we all thought Sarah Logan won, and Carmella was never eliminated. She eliminated Sarah Logan. Carmella won the second annual WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, and the men's was too predictable. We knew it was going to come down to Braun and two dudes from SNL. Braun ended up winning. That's all there was to that. And something my friend told me, last night we were watching it, and we saw the ad for Money in the Bank, which is next month. And Money in the Bank being the next pay-per-view, my friend said, they should really put Money in the Bank back on WrestleMania. Get rid of the pay-per-view and replace the two Battle Royals with the men's and the women's Money in the Bank matches. And I think that would actually be a great idea. I mean, yeah, you can't get everybody on the card the way WWE wants to these days, because a Money in the Bank match will be limited to about 8 superstars a match, so only 16 total between both the women's and the men's Money in the Bank. And I think if you put them back on WrestleMania and you replace the Battle Royals with the Money in the Bank matches, I think we're going to get a better result than what we're getting currently with the Battle Royals. So, moving on to the Cruiserweight title match, the last match here in the pre-show, as Buddy Murphy took on Tony Nese. And Buddy Murphy has been the Cruiserweight champion since he won it in that show in Australia last year in October. And it was his time to lose. And now Tony Nese is your new Cruiserweight champion. I don't watch 205 Live, so I can't say much here to storyline or anything else about the match, other than I kind of wish it got a little bit more time. Anyway, moving on to the main card here. So we started off the show with Alexa Bliss, the host of WrestleMania, coming out. She brings out Hulk Hogan. They do a pose down. And right in the middle of the pose down, Paul Heyman comes out. And he interrupts the pose down, walks down that long ramp, and says that if Brock Lesnar does not go on last, then there will be no match. So he wants to do the Universal title match right now in the opening match of WrestleMania. Who saw that coming? And before the match got started, Brock Lesnar went and just destroyed Seth Rollins. Again, setting up the big babyface comeback here for Seth Rollins. Once the match got started, it was actually kind of a decent match. It was typical Brock. But the thing that really surprised me here is Brock Lesnar's had good matches with AJ Styles, with Daniel Bryan, Finn Balor. He's had these great matches with these smaller guys. And I'm just very surprised he did not do or try to replicate that here with Seth Rollins. In the end, there was a ref bump. Seth Rollins hit him with the low blow that they teased on Monday night on the Go Home show. And after 3 curb stomps, I'm not calling it the stomp, I'm going to call it by its actual name, the curb stomp. After 3 consecutive curb stomps, Seth Rollins is now your new Universal Champion. And WrestleMania 35 starts the same way WrestleMania 31 ended, with Seth Rollins swinging the championship belt over his head, this time the Universal title, and Seth Rollins celebrating holding the title on stage. An unbelievable way to start the show. Now let's hope that Brock Lesnar is gone for good. I'm thinking probably, and I'll get to this in a bit, but I'm thinking right now Drew McIntyre probably will be Seth Rollins' first opponent. And they may try to sprinkle Roman in there, but we'll see. AJ Styles defeated Randy Orton in this match. It was okay. I kind of knew when they did the phenomenal forearm to the RKO on SmackDown on the Go Home show, the Styles was going to win here. So it was kind of just an okay match. Does make me wonder if AJ Styles is going to go to Raw in the Superstar Shakeup next week. We'll have to see in that one. He has been on SmackDown since the beginning of the brand split. So we could maybe get that. And I was thinking too that if Seth did lose, that Seth Rollins could go to SmackDown and it would be a fair trade. AJ going to Raw, Seth going to SmackDown. The next match here, the Usos retain the SmackDown Tag Team Championships against The Bar, Ricochet, Aleister Black, and Rusev and Nakamura to once again lock down the SmackDown Tag Team division. And so now with the Usos back in firm control, and not just firm control of the Tag Team division, but they're under the control of the WWE. They signed a new 5-year contract. So it makes me wonder now, because one of the teams that I was very surprised was not in this match was the Hardys. They teased it before WrestleMania. So now with the Usos signing a new contract, makes me wonder if we're going to maybe get the Hardys versus the Usos, maybe SummerSlam? That would be kind of fun. I think that would be a fun match. So now we're moving on to The Miz and Shane McMahon. Falls Count Anywhere. And boy, this was Falls Count Anywhere. And the story that was told during this match, absolutely perfect. At one point, Shane goes to go up for his usual jumping off a thing high spot, jumping through the table, and he was going to put the Miz through the table with an elbow. Well, George Mazanian, Miz's dad, comes in the ring. I'm getting ahead of myself on this one. He stands in front of the announce table that Miz is laying on to protect his own son. Again, the storytelling in this feud and in this match was just absolutely brilliant. And then afterwards, Shane, he teases, him and, George Mazanian, they're going to fight. And then Shane actually beats him up. And then that sets the Miz off. They go to this high platform off to the side of the stage. And it looks like we're going to get like this is Sparta moment where, Miz is just going to kick Shane right off that little platform. But instead we get the Miz who suplexes Shane off of the platform. And as they fall down, the genius of this finish here is that when they land in the soup, after they land, Shane's arm is covering the Miz. The ref counts to 3. Shane McMahon beats the Miz. Nobody saw that one coming. Normally, Shane's lost to AJ Styles. He's lost to The Undertaker. Shane won last year when he was tag teaming with Daniel Bryan, or 2 years ago now, with Daniel Bryan to face Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. But normally in these single matches, it's just like, Shane's going to lose. He's going to go over, the Miz is going to go over. They're going to solidify him as a babyface. But no, Shane won. And this really sucks, because I hope that the Miz is not going to be wasted on Shane anymore. Like, honestly, a lot of people said the same thing they said about Shane versus AJ at WrestleMania 33, where it was, hey, why are we wasting AJ Styles on Shane McMahon? And then they end up having a great match. And the Miz, for everything he's done, all the work that he's done over the last year or so on SmackDown, 2 years. Everything from that Talking Smack promo with Daniel Bryan, his feud with Daniel Bryan, his run with the Intercontinental title. The Miz just deserves so much more And again, Shane and Miz, they went out there, had a great match. The ending did kind of come out of nowhere, but it was a great way to finish the match. I just hope this doesn't go on any longer than it needs to. Just let The Miz compete for a world title, Universal title, WWE Championship. The Miz deserves a good face run as a world champion. Next up here, we have the Women's Tag Team Championships. Bayley and Sasha are defending the titles against the Iconics. Beth Phoenix, who returned. Natalya, who, Beth and Natalya, they came out in Hart Foundation colors. Had the endorsement from Bret Hart. You kind of get worried there a little bit. They're going to win. And of course, against Nia and Tamina in a fatal 4-way. And Bayley and Sasha lost, which really surprised me because Triple H did confirm that there would be an NXT TakeOver San Jose in June. Being in San Jose, Bayley's hometown, that would be their first title defense for Bayley and Sasha in NXT. But here we go with the Iconics picking up the win in this match. The match wasn't really nothing really special, nothing that says, hey, something stuck out. But the Iconics, they actually got a good reaction here from the crowd when they won. And so I'm happy for them. I think, to me, I don't know what you could have done with the Iconics. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce are so good together. They have great chemistry. And I just don't think, some kind of feud where, one of them becomes a champion and then, they turn on each other. I don't know if that would have worked. So, thankfully, there's a tag team division that these two can shine. I just hope the creative team actually allows them to do so. And now, moving on to the part of the show where Wrestlemania becomes KofiMania. So, here we are. Seth Rollins has already won. There's no way we're getting 3 happy endings in one night, right? Not all the faces are going to win, right? You think, okay, Kofi has to lose here maybe. So this was the reverse of WrestleMania 30. Daniel Bryan was literally facing a ghost of his past. Because everything leading up to this match was exactly what happened with Daniel Bryan leading up to WrestleMania 30, and they did it. Kofi Kingston is now your WWE champion. Yeah, there's this debate with The Rock. Was he the first black champion? Or is Kofi? Yes, it's a history-making moment. Again, people want to debate The Rock. Was he the first black champion or WWE champion? Or is it Kofi Kingston? I don't think we should be making it about race. I think that kind of all takes away from it. Now, yes, look, I understand it's a history-making moment. Kofi being the first black champion. But I don't want it to be about race because I don't want to diminish Kofi's hard work over the past 11 years that he's worked his tail off to get to that moment in WrestleMania. This should be about Kofi's determination, hard work paying off. He wasn't just some superstar that, oh, hey, we need you to do this, and this in the Rumble. You're going to save yourself in the Rumble with this cool looking spot. Alright, you're in the Money in the Bank match, and you're going to do this cool thing when you're going to jump off the ladder on everybody. For a lot of fans, that's what Kofi Kingston was. And at WrestleMania, and in this feud, Kofi Kingston has shown that he has been way more than that, and WWE never gave us a chance to see this side of Kofi Kingston sooner. And everything about this needs to be about the 11-year payoff. If you want to go as far as the boyhood dream has come true for Kofi Kingston, go ahead. To me, I want this to be a celebration for Kofi Kingston. And it's not just the character Kofi, it's the person behind the character. I saw a tweet earlier, Edge sent out about how great of a guy Kofi is. And this truly was a moment that everything that Kofi did leading up to WrestleMania 35, that was the big payoff after 11 years. And this feud we got with Kofi being able to show his more serious side. Again, he wasn't just a superstar that was a spot guy in the Rumble, or the spot guy that's going to do this amazing thing in the ladder match. Kofi was also just this superstar in a comedy gimmick to most people. Yes, the New Day is over, but Kofi was just, he's in a comedy gimmick. He's never going to be above that. We may not be able to take him seriously, because they're out there selling pancakes and, all this other stuff that people kept wanting to say about the New Day, and that, we'll never be able to take them seriously as world champions if they broke off from the group or whatever. But this feud and that match and everything leading up to this, going back to the Elimination Chamber, everything was perfect to how this whole thing ended on Sunday, with Kofi Kingston becoming essentially the first black WWE champion. This is just one of those feel-good moments in wrestling that you can watch over and over again on the network, and you can truly see where, this superstar has finally made it. Everything's paid off. All the work that he's done, everything's paid off. We're gonna get back to the match here. A culmination of hard work and determination from one superstar to do what nobody else has done. And I wish the WWE had pulled the trigger on a black WWE champion sooner. They've had the talent to do so. But when you see that it's Kofi Kingston that gets to get this moment, it makes this even better. And once again, perfect storytelling here. I kind of wish they didn't give away in the beginning of the match where Big E had that box, that little gift wrap box. Because I think it was obvious that what was in there was the old WWE Championship. So it kind of gave it away that Kofi was going to win. This was kind of a WrestleMania 10 moment where, as they're celebrating, the baby faces who they kept going back to during the match, they kept showing the baby faces watching on the screen and the monitor in the back, and then gave it to Kofi, and then Kofi opens it and he reveals the old WWE Championship. And it could have been like a Bret Hart moment where they, hoist Kofi on his shoulders. And it's this cool moment for Kofi. I'm glad it happened. I can't wait to see where they go with this. I just hope that he at least gets a couple months in. I don't know if he's going to go to SummerSlam as a champion. But we'll see. I'm thinking maybe a cash-in and Money in the Bank next month. But hopefully Kofi at least has it for 2 to 3 months. At least. Let him have this moment. So after Kofi won, I felt like you could literally turn off the network feed and you could have been happy with what you got. To me, this was where WrestleMania kind of started dragging, because we got to a certain point where where me and my friends were sitting there, and we're looking at our phones to see what time it is, and then we're sitting there and we're realizing we still got like 5-6 matches to go. So it seemed like towards the end here, they really started to rush things, because Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio, that was like a quick little squash match. Samoa Joe took him out, Kohina clutch. Rey Mysterio was injured on Monday night against Baron Corbin, so we didn't know if this match was going to happen, but it did. Roman Reigns defeated Drew McIntyre. I feel like this is going to be one of those scenarios from WrestleMania a couple years ago. We had Jericho versus AJ Styles. Jericho beat AJ Styles. Then the next night on Raw, AJ Styles, he won the number one contender match. He faced the WWE champion, who was Roman Reigns at the time. And so he got his momentum back after losing to Jericho. And I feel like this is what's going to happen with Drew McIntyre. I feel like Drew McIntyre is going to win a number one contenders match to face Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank next month. So he'll kind of regain that momentum. They've been building him up since he's been on the main roster. And I think Drew is the perfect guy to take the title off of Seth come SummerSlam. So hopefully they keep building up Drew McIntyre. I imagine that they're going to do what they usually been doing, which is 2 or 3 matches of Seth versus Drew. Hopefully maybe we get somebody else facing Seth at Money in the Bank so they can build up Drew more, to where Drew maybe wins a SummerSlam in the first try instead of losing to Seth and then actually finally winning after the second and third time. Definitely this was a match that probably didn't need to happen. I think you could have put Drew in the Andre Battle Royal. I think you could have had the SNL guys maybe cost Braun Strowman, distract them or something, and then Drew could have eliminated Braun Strowman to win the Andre Battle Royal. This was a match really we could have done without on the WrestleMania card. I know they wanted to do something because they had Roman back, so they wanted to put him on the show. But I really think we could have done without this match. Just hopefully Drew McIntyre is going to be given a proper run with the Universal title later on this year. So we got the Elias concert. So the Elias concert happens. All of a sudden, somebody in the production truck decides to start watching highlights of Babe Ruth. And so that starts displaying on the screen in the stadium. But no, it wasn't Babe Ruth interrupting Elias. It was the Doctor of Thugonomics, John Cena, as a throwback to his gimmick as a rapper. Came out and he rapped with Elias, beat him up. He said, hey, this is a throwback, there's no attitude adjustment, this is the FU. And came out, took out Elias. That was cool to see. I know last year there was some speculation. Last year in the match with Cena Undertaker, where Undertaker was going to come back as the American Badass. So it's like this year we got old school John Cena, the Doctor of Thugonomics, returned at WrestleMania 35. No match for John Cena. Has John Cena gotten to the point now where he's just a legend that's going to come out and make appearances? I mean, is his in-ring career done? You have to wonder. Now we moved on to the match that was set up on Ric Flair's 70th birthday celebration Triple H versus Batista. Batista before the match on Raw, he said this would be his last match that he's ever going to have, and part of the match was that he wanted to take Triple H's career, so he made Triple H put his career on the line. And boy, this match went on for 10 minutes too long. This match was something that probably could have just not happened. We could have held him off. I know Triple H said in an interview that Vince kind of forced him to do this. He wasn't really ready to return from his injury that he suffered at the last Saudi Arabia show. And Vince said, hey, we really need you. I really need you at WrestleMania. We need you to do this match. We went the entire show without The Undertaker. Now think about this for a second. If we can go an entire WrestleMania without The Undertaker, who everybody thought was going to interrupt Elias, I think we can do without a Triple H match at WrestleMania. But Triple H did beat Batista. The highlight of the match was Triple H taking a page out of Randy Orton's playbook from Hell in a Cell against Jeff Hardy, where Randy... it's trying to describe this. It makes my ear hurt. Took that screwdriver to Jeff Hardy's piercing, and and Triple H took like little pliers and he pulled that nose ring out of Batista's nose. The visual of that. It hurt. That hurt my nose watching it. Ric Flair came out at the end, gave Triple H a sledgehammer. Triple H won. That's all we can say. That was your Triple H match for the year. Baron Corbin, man, the man that nobody wanted to see face Kurt Angle, actually beat Kurt Angle in his farewell match. I think there were other superstars here that could have used the rub here. Kurt Angle, he's old school. He's going to go out on his back. Similar to The Undertaker, he put Roman Reigns over at WrestleMania 33. Kurt Angle, he's old school. He's going to go and put somebody over on the way out. But I think if that was the plan, it could have been somebody else. I'm just trying to look at this roster, and I don't know, maybe some. I can't even think of anybody else. I mean, yeah, everybody wanted John Cena, but I think if the whole point of what WWE was trying to do was to give somebody a rub by pinning Kurt Angle in his Hall of Fame match, or his last match, then definitely could have went to somebody else. So Kurt Angle gave his farewell speech at the end. And again, after Kurt Angle gave his farewell speech, again, you could have turned off WrestleMania and said, boom, done, you're happy. Kofi had won, Seth had won. You could have turned it off there and said, boom, that's it. But we still had more matches to go. We still had 2 more matches to go on this long, long night. Holy moly, hope you all had some energy drinks to keep you up. Again, because of the time, and WWE felt like, hey, I think even WWE got to a point where they were like, hey, let's wrap this thing up. Hey, you know what? You guys are going to lose time. Go out there, do a quick match. And this is where, Finn Balor, Bobby Lashley kind of hurt. Because it seemed like they were kind of rushed to get out there and get the match in. Get as much done in as possible. Finn Balor is your new Intercontinental Champion. 2-time Intercontinental Champion. And we got the Demon, Finn Balor, at WrestleMania. So I guess if we can't have the dead man take 20 minutes to get to the ring, we're just going to have a Demon take 20 minutes to get to the ring at a WrestleMania entrance. Now we're going to get to the main event of this show. I don't know how long I've recorded so far, but trying to get through this home card, I feel exhausted already just talking about it. So, winner take all. Charlotte Flair surprises everybody Goes out there, challenges Asuka on SmackDown. She wins the SmackDown title to the anger of everybody who, we were literally supposed to have gotten Asuka versus Mandy Rose for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. And for some reason, WWE decided hey, we need to pump up this main event. And they put the title on Charlotte. But it kind of told me, too, that Charlotte was going to stay on SmackDown. But then, of course, they decided to make it winner take all. And so they were going full on Daniel Bryan here, with Becky holding up 2 belts at the end of the show. I felt like this match, we never reached a climax. I felt like, to me, the match was good, don't get me wrong. The match was good, but I felt so bad for Charlotte, Ronda, and Becky, because this match did not start until midnight. The show, they had a 20-minute match. And, so the show ended about 12:30. And at this point, the crowd is tired. One point I saw a video on Twitter of people actually falling asleep at the show. And so, the energy that the WWE wanted really, really hurt. It's similar to AJ and Nakamura from last year, where their placement on the card was after so much had already happened that the crowd really could not have gotten into it the way that I think the fans wanted to, the way the WWE wanted them to, and that's what happened here. On top of that, the match was actually pretty good. Don't get me wrong. I think the match was good, but we never reached that point that the climax, never got to a climax point where I think the storytelling didn't live up to the build. Because we never really got the storytelling that we got in the Kofi Kingston match against Daniel Bryan, The Miz and Shane. And the match really ended abruptly. Nobody was ready for the match to end. Nobody expected it to. I don't know what happened. I was reading reports that there was supposed to have been a submission finish. Where was this mess up? Was it the referee? Did Ronda not kick out? I don't know what it was. But all of a sudden, the match ended when Becky countered Piper's Pit into a roll-up pin, and all of a sudden Becky won, and nobody knew. I mean, you could tell the crowd was already kind of exhausted, but when the bell rang and stuff, it was wait, what just happened? The fans weren't ready for it. We didn't get what we had at WrestleMania 30 with Daniel Bryan, where throughout the match, Daniel was, beat up. He was, Randy Orton and Batista beat him up. They were trying to get rid of him. I would have liked to have seen some of that from Charlotte and Ronda teaming up, with them two being the new main event because of Vince McMahon, getting rid of Becky. And those two having a little brawl for a little bit, fighting them among themselves. And then Becky comes back, breaks everything up. That kind of, fun storytelling to build up Becky to the win. But it ended so abruptly, and I think that hurt the match. I hate it for all three involved because, A, the crowd was already exhausted and worn out. Number 2, all 3 of these women have put on great matches in the past, and we just never were able to get to the point that we could sit there and say, or for the fans to chant, "This is awesome," at some point during the match and show appreciation to all 3. We never did. So it'll be interesting to see what happens now moving forward. But now Becky Lynch is the Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion. And what did you think of WrestleMania? Leave a comment below. And, next year WrestleMania is in Tampa, Florida. Raymond James Stadium, home of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I wonder, is Shane going to jump off the pirate ship next year? If you look at the stadium, and I'm going to throw a picture up here of Raymond James Stadium for those who don't watch football, aren't familiar with the stadium. You see this pirate ship. If only the WWE had a pirate of some kind on their roster. WrestleMania 35 was KofiMania. Could we get Kyrie Mania at WrestleMania 36? And I'm talking Kyrie Sane, NXT's Pirate Princess. Could we see her in one of the women's title matches next year? Will she make an entrance from the boat? What can we expect? I will have a early predictions video, fantasy booking WrestleMania 36 video up later on this week, and I'm going to go dig deep into WrestleMania history as a podcast of wrestling looks at matches that we should have gotten at WrestleMania, but we never did. Subscribe to this channel for more of the podcast of wrestling. I've been your host, Money Mike. I hope that this video did not leave you as exhausted as WrestleMania did. Enjoy the Raw and SmackDown after WrestleMania, and I'll be back later this week with more podcasts of wrestling. Podcasts of wrestling. Podcasts of wrestling. Podcasts of wrestling. Podcasts of wrestling.